Wriggle me this and wriggle me that. Which Jamaican group is striving for greater productivity, is often efficient, and will ultimately make the country more business friendly? If you guessed public sector workers, you hit the nail right on the head. And later in the show, we'll showcase another outstanding civil servant who is performing her duties with excellence. Hello everyone, welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Also in today's lineup, mathematics comes alive for the little ones. Stay with us as we kickstart the weekend together.
Commuters, travel the route to excellence. Get your new JUTC Smarter Card today. It's not only safer, it'll also have you boarding faster and get you on your way quicker. Cards are available at JUTC sales offices, the JUTC Lay-By in St. Catherine, the JUTC Halfway Tree Transport Center, and the East Parade office in Kingston. Print and collect your own ticket. Find the value in the JUTC Smarter Card. It's the smart way to go.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith with your JIS News for Friday, June 6. Road users can expect new rules to make the roadways safer following the tabling of amendments to the Road Traffic Act in Parliament this week.
Among the proposed changes encompassed in a brand new bill are increased traffic penalties for breach of the road code, mandatory training and certification of motor vehicle driving instructors, a longer period for holding a learner's permit and curtailing the use of electronic handheld devices whilst driving, as well as increased powers for the Island Traffic Authority.
Minister with responsibility for housing, Dr. Maurice Guy, was making his contribution to the 2014-2015 sectoral debate on Wednesday. He said the amendments to the Road Traffic Act would bring the law in line with the realities of 2014 and beyond. In the meantime, government will be automating several functions of the Island Traffic Authority's examination depots this financial year. Written certificates of fitness will be phased out, along with the written component of the test for driver's licenses.
What this means, Mr. Speaker, is that when you go to the driving depot for your driving test, you will not have to use the traditional pencil and paper, but will input your answers into a computer.
Testing of the new system will commence shortly at one corporate area depot, with plans to expand it island-wide. The Ministry of Education is assuring parents that enforcement measures are in place to ensure that schools follow the new textbook policy guidelines.
Our education officers will be very vigilant in July and August to ensure that the packages that are given to students, we cross-check and double-check even after the lists have been approved, to ensure that they reflect the books or the guidelines that we have indicated.
The Chief Education Officer was speaking at a JIS think tank Friday. Dr. McLean said while parents await the July publishing of the approved book lists, they can visit the ministry's website or call 924-9128. In the meantime, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thway says some of the concerns raised by the book industry are being considered. The minister says in a meeting with the Book Industry Association of Jamaica this week, representatives agreed with the new policy in principle, but suggested that some books left off should be added.
They said that there were some books that ought to be part of the supplementary list that didn't appear, and could we please consider those? And of course we will.
He was speaking on JIS TV's Issues and Answers program. That interview airs this Sunday on Jamaica Magazine. Youth and Culture Minister Lisa Hanna has announced major changes for this year's festival celebrations, among them the introduction of a National Family Day planned for August 2.
I really wanted to do this as a way of helping to heal the Jamaican family. Many of our challenges that our children face are directly related to the problems in their homes. And if we can fix the families, we can fix Jamaica.
Minister Hanna also revealed that the schedule of activities for festival will be extended, running from June to Independence Day on August 6. Other changes include an expansion of activities to incorporate most areas of the cultural and creative industries, including literature, film, television, culinary arts, and fashion.
Our redesigned program reflects my government's determination to enhance the contribution of culture and the creative industries to the national economy. Culture is an economic catalyst, that we must maximize for the benefit of our people.
The Jamaica Tourist Board's Western office is to be relocated to the Montego Bay Convention Center. Portfolio Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil made the announcement as he addressed the recently held annual general meeting of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association.
We'll be adding equity to the convention center. That means that when the travel agents, tour operators or partners are coming to JTB office, they'll see the convention center. You'll have marketing as it goes along.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Equality, equal rights and justice for women and men in our society. Spread the word to the nation, promoting equality.
The thing with fear star.
Equal value, equal rights. Know it, believe it, live it.
It's time for us to get it right.
Equal rights and justice.
For our men and women.
Equality.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
Public sector workers have been doing a tremendous job executing programs and implementing policies that keep the country running. Up next, we put another outstanding civil servant in the spotlight.
Civil servants continue to be the engine of government, implementing policies and programs to move the country full speed ahead. With much emphasis being placed on making Jamaica more business-friendly, the focus is on public sector workers to improve their efficiency. And diligent government workers are doing just that. Among them, the Director of Transport Policy in the Ministry of Transport Works and Housing, an outstanding civil servant who has served Jamaica for more than 30 years. Meet Valerie Simpson, the confident yet reserved past student of Alpha Academy. Fresh out of high school, her first job in the public sector was a clerk in the Administrator General's department.
I was never afraid of work. I was very ambitious and I was never afraid to do anything. I applied to do evening classes at UA. And then while I was working at the Administrator General's department, and then I got a bursary to go in full-time, and then I felt it was time for me to move.
Her next stop was at the Ministry of Mining and Energy, and as they say, the rest is history. In 1998, Ms. Simpson began working in the Transport Ministry as Senior Director of Transport Monitoring and Chief Director of Air Transport. 6 years later, she was promoted to the position of Director of Transport Policy.
My unit deals with the main modes of transport, which is land, air, maritime. Anything to do that requires a cabinet decision or the cabinet said the submission has to, we are responsible for drafting or ensuring that the requisite information and liaising with the relevant agencies, that the information is pertinent and before it goes to cabinet.
Her unit also played a pivotal role in the privatization of the Sangster International Airport in 2003. That deal became a model for the development of a public-private policy by the Development Bank of Jamaica and set the groundwork for the pending privatization of the Norman Manley International Airport.
There was no regulatory framework when we were considering the privatization concession of the airport of Sangster. Now there's the Airport Economic Regulation Act, so we're not going to start from zero base now. Having the lessons learned, we know what to look out for, what the government and the people of Jamaica and what the investor would be looking for in such an environment.
Ms. Simpson is also a member of the team overseeing the privatization of the Jamaica Railway Corporation and the Kingston Container Terminal. A number of air services agreements were also cemented with Jamaica under the watchful eyes of this dedicated civil servant. These include agreements with countries like the United States, Brazil, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and Canada. There was also a memorandum of understanding between several agencies under the Voluntary International Maritime Organization Member State Audit Scheme. In essence, this ensured that Jamaica was compliant in a number of areas, including ship safety, certification, and the protection of the marine environment.
Can you remember that we need to send out the letters by tomorrow because we have a deadline for them to respond to us by Monday. So we have a strict deadline. Thank you.
Valerie Simpson has a very good working relationship with her colleagues and is very serious about her work.
With respect to the public service policies and procedures, she is very knowledgeable about those things, and she requires of us on a regular basis or throughout our work to ensure that we do the best we can.
She pays a lot of attention to detail, and she doesn't like anything to be out of place, out of order, not in accordance with procedure. So, you know, she can always be depended on to dot all of the I's and cross all of the T's and go beyond the call of duty if something needs to be done on time in a short time.
And one of the things that sets her apart to me is that she's always willing to teach. And not only willing to teach, but she was also willing to learn. So even while I was under her directorship, I always said to her that I've learned so much from you, and in return she would say, you would have no idea how much I've learned from you. Prior to coming into the service, you know, I had the perception of what a typical civil servant was like. Having met Ms. Simpson, among others within the ministry, she showed me that, I mean, just as much as the attitude of workers in the private sector were businesslike, that's how she was. Very businesslike, very purposeful.
Those qualities led to national recognition in 2013.
Our first runner-up is Barry Ann Simpson from the Ministry of Transport.
And we'll keep on fighting till the end.
I must be honest with you. I am not a person that likes to be in the spotlight.
To be honest, she herself wasn't so gung-ho like, oh yes, you know, I'm nominated. But I was happy to support the nomination and write the statements. And when she came out as first runner-up, I wasn't surprised because she really is a dedicated, bona fide civil servant.
With just a few years to retirement, having attained an executive master's in business administration from the University of the West Indies, Ms. Simpson is determined to do what she can to train young professionals.
As a manager, you have to put your best foot forward, even in the most trying of circumstances. You have to even walk the corridors and listen and see, you know, give and render some advice.
Valerie Simpson, Director of Transport Policy in the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing, a devoted and efficient civil servant, pushing for greater productivity, pursuing excellence in the public service.
We are the champions of the world.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, Bolt and a Sapa.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the idling. You think I saw? We reach a the aging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
Do you remember this mnemonic from primary school? 10 millimeters, 1 centimeter, 10 centimeters, 1 decimeter, 10 decimeters, 1 meter. And this one, knock him down, mister. Don't commit murder. Without that, I doubt I would have ever remembered the correct sequence for that metric measurement. Today, teachers are still using interesting concepts to make mathematics enjoyable and understandable. Check this out.
Not liking maths, then you can just say goodbye to any of these professions. Claims adjuster, chemist, engineer, sociologist, even nurse. Welcome to another week of School Zone. I'm Tamara McHale, and today we give you highlights of the Ministry of Education Maths Expo, held under the theme Math Revolution Equal Economic Solution.
Mathematics is a problem for many students, and trust me, I know. It wasn't really my best subject in school. And at Math Expo 2014, School Zone came across scores of students who also find the subject a bit hard.
The formulas, well, some of them are like challenging.
Like when we say, when she had do division and she said for bring down, she said for multiply, but it's a little bit hard.
I have to confess that when I was in school, I didn't do well in mathematics at all. I couldn't even take it at CSEC level. But I had to learn it later on as I went through university in order to be able to understand some of the other subjects that I was doing.
Yes, that was actually the Minister of Education admitting to his troubles with the subject. The troubles he faced, which others continue to grapple with, was the inspiration for the Mathematics Expo. This was the second one, and hundreds of youngsters like you were introduced to the fun side of numbers. There was an even more serious goal to the day's activities.
We want you to see the different career opportunities and to set your goals to qualify yourselves in mathematics so that you can be gainfully employed in Jamaica and elsewhere in the globe.
And that's exactly what happened, as captivated students listened to presenters sharing the importance of mathematics in various professions.
It doesn't matter where in the world you are, what subjects you like, or what decision you have to make. Math is the first thing that you have to consider.
There was even one presenter from as far as Singapore, the country which ranks the best in mathematics and science globally, according to results from the Trends in International Mathematics and Science study.
Mathematics in Singapore is different. There's a new methodology in mathematics. Okay, we call it the CPA concept, concrete, pictorial, and abstract. Along with it, we have methodologies like bar modeling. It's used widely now. We have spread the word across the world.
In the CPA method, you move from actual objects around you, concrete, then you create pictures, pictorial, and the final stage is using math symbols to connect it all, abstract. This helps students picture numbers and sizes in their minds so they can work out mathematical equations. With the help of 32 exhibitors, 6,000 students from 200 schools across the island, maybe even yours, got to working it out.
10-gram pieces, and the aim of the 7 pieces cut from a square, and they're supposed to create those designs that you see out there by combining the shapes.
The vertical movement and the horizontal movement just by counting on this. We went to the right, so it's positive, and went up, so that is also positive. So it's 6 over 6, which is 1. So the gradient is positive 1. Yeah. Y equals x plus 1.
I'm very elated. I'm thinking that the Ministry of Education is now heading in the right direction.
This Math Expo, I must say it was rather fun and interesting.
That the CXC exam is coming up, it's very beneficial because we can learn a lot from this.
There's always an easier way to math, there's an easier way to look at it, and you can relate the strategies to things in daily life. For example, the lady was talking about algebra, and she was saying that you could look on algebra as dressing up. So you would put on one garment at a time. And when you realize it is really simple, you're just like everyday life.
How well do you know your child? What he or she likes or dislikes? Favorite food or color? How about who their friends are? Make the time. Get to know your child. It helps to build their relationship. Makes it easy to keep them safe, and it helps their development process.
Play is very important to the development of children. It allows them to use their creativity and develop their imagination. Through play, children interact with the world around them. They learn how to work in groups, share, and resolve conflicts.
They learn rules and they learn about respecting others and waiting turns and setting their own rules and guidelines for their games.
Set limits, but allow your children to play. It will help them develop the confidence and resilience needed to conquer future challenges.
Now for another fascinating subject area, the literary arts. Whether it's words, figures of speech, or simply stretching the imagination to see what the writer is saying, it's always good to cultivate those reading or literary habits in the little ones.
Surely I'm glad to see me have a problem.
Last year, every day you have problems. So what happened to you now?
Every weekend Daniel lock up in a room and watch TV.
What you call that? I tell her, send the boy go to class on weekend with Sheena. The poor child must board if you know not much we do.
And what you say Sheena do again?
Sometimes she do painting, pottery making, stuff like that.
Alright, I'm going to send him this weekend, but if I can't make it, I'm going to send him.
No problem, man. That's what friends are for.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Oh, the age of innocence. Children, they can be a handful sometimes, but they are definitely a heartful all the time. Children are impressionable, so it's up to parents to be their guides in traversing this world. Truer words could not be said about proper parenting than the old adage, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's why involving children in wholesome activities is so crucial to their development. This week on the Arts page, literary arts for children.
It arouses interest children for learning. It builds their vocabulary. It keeps them away from trouble.
To read is to fly. It is to soar to a point of vantage which gives a view over wide terrains of history, human variety, ideas, shared experience, and the fruits of many inquiries. Reading exposes children to a whole new world. It offers a quick escape. It increases their vocabulary, expands their imagination, improves their concentration, and most of all, it makes them more susceptible to learning. It's why some bookstores offer reading programs on a Saturday. One option for parents looking to entertain their children on a weekend while making sure the learning continues.
He played a cover drive and the crowd yelled, 4! 4!
When they come to these sessions that we have, they're interacting with kids from different socio-economic backgrounds. They're also educating their minds and they're developing habits of reading. It is especially important if we want to kind of lift Jamaica as a nation from where we are now to becoming more literate.
I'm playing in my school shoes, I'm playing in my school shoes, so here is Pete.
The children get the chance to read, interact with each other, and we also bring in a reader every week so they actually have a chance to participate fully and explore some great books.
And the children agree.
I like coming here because the books here are nice and they're good presents for my friends. It's helped me to learn new things and get to know more about the world.
Because it's fun and adventurous.
It helped me to learn new stuff about the world. It is fun, make you learn. To read and have fun. It's good to read most of all.
parents share similar sentiments.
He likes to read and hear about Kingston Bookshop. We automatically, well, definitely come here and have fun.
I bring them here because there's a great selection of children's books. There's a great room for them to come and play, and I'd like to inspire reading in their lives. And so this is just a great community to come and spend an afternoon or a morning.
I would encourage my child to come and read, one, to socialize with other children, to get engaged in different types of books, as reading enhances learning, reading arouses the imagination, and it will help with other subject areas.
And not only that,
any opportunity we have to expose children to books and to encourage them to read is so integral in a child's development.
Story time, story time, story time.
kids, remember, reading maketh a full man. So read a book today.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
We've come to the end of this edition of Jamaica Magazine. Hope you learned something new about civil servants and interesting ways to help children develop numeracy and literary concepts. Remember, we value your feedback, so send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm, follow us on Twitter @JISnews, and catch up on the latest government info at jis.gov.jm. I'm Theodore Henry, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Another program comes your way tomorrow. Take care. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.